How has it been over a year and a half since my last Pokemon video? Like, time is flying. I've lost complete touch of it, but we're heading back on this Pokemon Gym Leader Elite Four outfit series. Let's head to the Kanto region. Hola, my name is X, and I like to experiment with fashion as well as talk about whatever the hell I want on social media whenever I feel like it. And in this video, like I said, hoping to give a little more momentum to this Pokemon outfit series. We have to take it back to the beginning though. I've already reviewed Scarlet and Violet. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. It really kicked off this outfit review format that I got going on here. So definitely want to get acquainted there. But like I said, I want to go back to the beginning because I feel like in order to do a proper full scope Pokemon review, we should see how the style has evolved onto newer installments. Like after this, we're going to review Sword and Shield. But anyway, before I go on a tangent there, just an overall note with regard to Gen 1 or the Kanto fashion and style. Because it was the original, you know, they were working with limited visual capabilities. So the trainers really had to have some key distinct elements that did tie to their types. They couldn't rely on too much extra layering, style, decoration, whatever. They really had to have a core aesthetic and archetype for a look to set the tone for that coordination with the different Pokemon gym types. Also, and I've been beating everybody over the head with these videos, it's typical, simple, functional 90s style. A lot of the outfits are just kind of plain Jane, but you know, in this case that works. It set the blueprint, so just really want us to keep that in mind. But I feel like the evolutions in their style definitely help lend a lot to the conversation. So with that being said, let's get right into it, starting off with Red, or Ash, as I still refer to him and look at him as. Baseball cappy, sporty youth boy look. There's a lot more white within his initial outfit, which just gives that sense of freshness and youth. But he just looks like he's right off the set of The Sandlot. If you know, you know. Kind of almost reminds me of Sora even a little bit. Just like that intro protagonist outfit that is a little bright with the main colors and just feels more youthful overall. I would say that I love, though, the evolution and the outfits more so in between generations where we get more black incorporated. And I think that the black does a lot for his look. Two looks in particular that I love are the one in the Pokemon Masters game where it's like a longer red vest and a longer sleeved black shirt. Just that vest is so statement, even though the hat is kind of pretty typical to his more youthful look. But I really like what I would consider to be his more main overall outfit that he even has in the Smash Brothers series, which is just that red vest or just like a red and black shirt with some white lining. The shoes even coordinate very well. It still is a good mix between like a youthful kind of main lead energy type character, but that black is just so nicely sprinkled in for that extra touch of refinement and coolness. But I will say in Sun and Moon, I think it is, don't mind the resurgence of some white in his look. A decent flex and range in style, I'd say, for a look that is really dependent upon some sort of like cap. He's looking pretty fresh and has had some good evolutions overall. When we look at Brock, I was pleasantly surprised. For some reason, I thought that his style overall was pretty flat. Obviously, we know the signature look, which is that green vest, orange shirt, brown pants. And I love that those are kind of some key colors or an overall key color palette that has remained true to his character. I think that it's just overall nice, laid back, utilitarian, but the colors give a nice little burst of energy. But I will say, I think that the evolution with the orange sweater or just like orange long sleeve shirt with the black undershirt and green cargo pants and even like black and orangish shoes are like, that's his peak look. He just looks so cool, effortless, black belt around the waist, just more sporty and just more edgy and athletic, which is just a really nice extra evolution and elevation. He also has some other cool outfits with the green pants where it's like an overall darker black shirt that looks almost like some sort of tighter sportswear or like even I would say like a tech wear material. That's how kind of cool and elevated it is. The black, just like with Red or Ash, definitely gives a little extra refinement and cool and even maybe a bit more toughness to his overall potentially rugged look. But the cargo pants are a staple. Overall, very pleasantly surprised with his evolution. I think that if there was any chance for him to reappear much more, I would love to see how they could kind of flex that limited range, but smart range of style for him. When it comes to Misty, I'm very surprised. I must have given her some sort of nostalgia bias because I feel like I grew up with these characters and thought that she was so much more stylish than she was. I thought she even had a little more range, but overall I think that her evolution's rather flat. So naturally we start with some sort of bathing suit. On the nose, ties to water type perfectly and is really how a lot of the other water type characters, even just like grunts and random trainers. I think her peak look is the in-between aesthetics that we get, even between the anime and the game, which is just some sort of crop top and some shorts. It's very kind of rugged girl, tomboyish, but relaxed and with a little bit of attitude. I think that that's what she looks best in. So I would have loved to see some style maybe built upon that, even maybe just some different accessories. And that's a huge missed opportunity for her. And then when we look at how they depicted her, maybe a bit more grown and like in some latter stages, I don't mind having like a cover up over her bathing suit. She doesn't have to be full blown body confidence, but I don't even know what the hairstyle is. I don't think that the overall silhouette and style of the look is very flattering for a character like her. I feel like the best evolution for her would have been what she looked like, I think, in Generation 2 of the anime, which was like a two-piece coordinated set. There was some dimension to it because there was a crop to the top, but it wasn't showing her stomach. I feel like they could have expanded upon that for something that looked kind of futuristic and a little experimental, but a little out of the box, which I feel like that's the energy and personality that Misty does have a bit at core. So Lieutenant Sarge is one of those characters whose lore is why they are typed or associated with the type that they are. That often happens a lot in a variety of different media, and I don't necessarily think I'm the biggest fan of that. Like, okay, that's cool, but I mean, it doesn't necessarily do the magical little touch to kind of bring to life the style of the Pokemon type. I know that he was a big user of maybe electric type Pokemon within his work in the military, but I don't think that the overall look and his aesthetic is giving electric, maybe outside of the spiky hair. In general, I've said this even with like some of the fighting games, like if it's almost like a typical camo style fit, not the biggest fan of that print anyway, but then just when it's only just a uniform or a costume, I'm really not that like impressed. I think they could have been a bit more on the nose and maybe done a bit more of a stereotypical electric, some sort of person within like computers or technology for that. And we kind of get that within one of the like Silco Lab settings. So I feel like we could have done a little bit more here. That's all I have to say. When we look at Erika, just the gracefulness of a kimono look and the femininity of it naturally definitely aligns with a grassy leaf. If there was even fairy, she could have maybe fallen into that at the time, but obviously giving grass, but very flat within how she's depicted, at least within the games. There's really no groundbreaking differentiation, maybe outside of making it a full kimono, or maybe just like a different skirt versus top, or maybe just some differentiation in that kind of pattern and color placement and color blocking. But other than that, she's really pretty standard. She could have used more flex because in the anime, I think she had maybe a couple cute dresses. So it would have been nice if they were a little bit more experimental and just took a step out of just the lore and keeping her a bit boxed into that. Not that she's that big of a main character anyway, but I don't know. I just would have liked to see a little more playfulness. Koga is very similar to Erika in the regard that his overall style evolution is just flat. Like her though, he does fit his type and his gym in the overall theme really well. Poison, ninja, stealth, poison type, like it makes sense. And I think the color palette is really great for him and very strong. I just think that they could have, once again, maybe been a little more experimental, maybe given him some pants, maybe given him a little bit of that hybrid look that we got in some of the fighting games like KOF, where there is some of that traditional synthesized and mixed with something a bit more modern, or instead of something as traditional and historical. But the red scarf is iconic, just like it really is in any sort of ninja uniform, and definitely pops against a darker overall palette. But Sabrina is the bad bee of, well, it's so tough. I think at this time, especially any psychic type anybody was like so cool. She's the one who's giving me some of the the most Elite Four energy, even beyond some of the Elite Four. Her aesthetic is just so cool with enough mystery and edge that just makes her an overall badass character. I think that her core suit is honestly doing a lot of heavy lifting and was ahead of its time. And when we think about something psychic type, it kind of is a little bit more advanced and ahead in that regard as well. It just feels so futuristic and almost space-like an alien. And she's a good example of how you can take a character who had a really strong foundational look, but give them some flex. Like, I don't know if there's a lore reason why she wore a cute little outfit with a crop top and some spaghetti straps and white pants, but she went there. You know what I mean? Like, Sabrina took the potential that Misty had and just ran with it with that one key look, and even with the hairstyle change, amazing. And then we even get another little sprite of her that's a bit more extravagant in another video game installment. It's just like she has the range, and I love that they saw that potential in her and gave her some flex just beyond a bit more of the standard. When we look at Blaine, I think the depiction of the pose and energy really differentiates a bit of his standard look between a few of the initial generations. At first, he came across a lot more menacing. I think in more recent installments, they gave him a little bit more of like a energetic old guy vibe and energy. I don't know how to describe that, which kind of makes the costume just look a bit more professor-y, which doesn't feel like it has as much kind of fire and edge to it, in my opinion. But the look in between, where he's just wearing some simple slacks, a white vest and a red shirt and a cap to match, that's such a good look for him. Again, like, I feel like there was some of the trainers or the leaders where they're like, let's go ahead and give him a standard, simple, functional look, just like true to the 90s, or really where they originated from, but just with a nice key color choice and coordination to make it feel fresh and new and even innovative for their style trajectory. Giovanni needs to be depicted in a suit. He's the boss man. Like, he, good or evil, whatever, he is the boss man. And so that powerful, just like corporate suit was his aesthetic and is his aesthetic. Even his sprite has changed over time to be less menacing and less bulky and like boss-like, which I feel like is a little bit of a miss for his character. Like, but then they started to just play more so, and I think it's because like he stepped away and like he kind of reformed the group. Then they started to get into just a more flat, standard, almost uniform, like Team Rocket-ish. Like, it's timeless, it's classic, but it loses that executive boss man, almost mobster edge that he had, which I think he kind of really needs, especially when we think about him as a gym leader. I will say that they kind of circled back to a really nice look kind of towards the end in Let's Go, just with some introduction of a bit more of a vibrant red, but also I love that double-breasted trench coat and top hat fedora look. That is also a nice twist to his aesthetic. It takes away from, I think, as much of the mobster or a boss man and is a bit more kind of fancy, classy style, but either way, it still looks just as executive and dominant. That's his arena, and I don't think that he conveys as much authority without it. All right, this is when we move into the Elite Four, and I will say that typically the Elite Four, maybe moving forward, have a bit more of a je ne sais quoi, or just an extra elevated touch to them that separates them from the gym leaders. I'll say in this regard, that's kind of the case, although I might just be having, again, some nostalgia bias where it's more so the battles that made them feel so much more elevated and tough and maybe less of their aesthetics. So anyway, let's go into getting into these. So Lorelai's a bad bee. I don't know who's more bad, her or Sabrina, and that's where I'm like a little stuck. Lorelai was giving the original Office Siren. I don't know if anybody incorporated her within any of those Office Siren montages. Even before Bayonetta, there was Lorelai giving us that corporate, smarty pants, sassy look with the glasses and a great silhouette. In the in-between generations where she's wearing just more of a sleeveless shirt and a skirt, still very refined and polished, even almost a little futuristic just based on the top. But I think that her wheelhouse is just more of that kind of corporate look as well. Something with a power jacket and some sort of coordinated skirt, or an overall kind of like skirt and suit blazer set, I think that is her strongest look. It just gives her more of that authority, more of that elevated touch. I would also, within that, like to see a bit more color. I think in the anime she had like a red shirt, and then within some of the in-between gens she has that purple skirt. So a little pop of color would be best. I feel like that's kind of what's missing. Otherwise, I think that if she were to ever circle back and make a reappearance, there's plenty of room to take her look to an interesting level. Bruno's another one of those where it's just like, okay, very on the nose, not much to talk about here. Not the most favorite aesthetic. I've even excluded this from like favorite character outfits on other franchises. It's cool, fighting type, we get it. There's been no change. Okay. Like, even if they would have given him some sort of like cool sports shirt or like athletic top. Agatha's another character that maybe just wasn't so beloved because there's no flex in her style. I mean, she's pulling off the creepy ghost lady vibe really well. I feel like it would have been nice to see them kind of maybe giving her a little extra drama, a little extra flamboyance in some reappearances. I think that they kind of give her like a green Shaw in some of the more recent installment. What is that? Let's Go. But other than that, it's really one-dimensional style. I feel like for older characters like Blaine, he got a little bit of fun with a cool gentleman outfit. It would have been nice, especially for Elite Four character, just to play around, give us a little something different. But Lance, I think, really outside of Lorelai, carried the whole Elite Four vibe perfectly. We're not only obviously getting an insane Pokemon lineup at the time battle-wise, but just the overall aesthetic is giving Dragoon. Like, I don't know why that word specifically. Like, not just dragon, Dragoon. And a bit campy, but the color palette, the hairstyle, really everything is giving some sort of dragon energy without there needing to be like claws or needing to be some sort of like design or pattern. I feel like we get the picture, which is very good as far as capturing the type within the style. It really takes the reddish and bluish tones down to a really deep enough level to where it almost feels like they're different colors altogether, and then the black just smooths out that mysterious, authoritative, boss-like energy. It just coordinates all so well. But I don't know if I like the Let's Go look as much. I feel like the color palette is brightened, if anything. The red is made more prominent, and the cape almost feels more costumish than it feels native to his overall look, like it does in literally all the other depictions. And even if it's like a chibi little Let's Go cute avatar, I feel like it's kind of watered down the overall energy of the outfit. And then when we look at Blue or Gary, I always just remember him from his kind of flat long sleeve shirt, pants and shoes look. Nothing really all that inspiring or out of the realm of the ordinary, but after taking a closer look at just even a couple of the variations, I was like, okay. I think even within Gen 2, it's still the standard look, maybe just with a little bit of print at the bottom of the shirt, but it's when we hit Gen 3 where I don't know if it's just the color change that really does it, but the style of this shirt also seems different. He's just wearing like a cool guy black, nice collared shirt, and the purple pants. I think maybe it's the color purple that's giving a huge bias. I liked that even in Lorelai's look. Purple is just one of my favorites. So I don't know, it looks more elevated, more refined and sharp and just cool. But I will say when he gets that kind of black jacket layered over a shirt with the cargo pants, and the cargo pants have like pockets on the front of the thighs, and they're usually more around the knees or the lower leg, and they're more towards the side. This outfit is just so cool, nicely textured, even some good dimension play going on. It does look like in the anime they kind of circle back a little bit to the Gen 3 look, but maybe with a green shirt over top. I don't know if I like that relationship between the green and the purple, but I think that his peak look is a nice high collared sharp shirt with a little bit of a V neckline or some sort of layered jacket look. Bad boy, but cool and effortless. All right, and there you go. That was pretty straightforward, but I feel like just with the evolution in style over some different installments of the game kind of helped fuel the conversation a little bit more. I am looking forward to, after having this serve as a good foundation, looking at the subsequent outfits to come in the other installments within the Pokemon franchise. So that should be interesting. Obviously, let me know how you feel, what you think, maybe any insights or fun facts that I might have missed. But of course, until the next video, I'll talk to you later.